I'm Ziffy from Striperchum.com with another recipe for striped bass. This recipe is very simple. It's called striped bass salad. And how we started off is I took some nice chunks of striped bass. This came from a 25-pounder. We brushed some olive oil onto aluminum foil. That's extra virgin olive oil. Then we brush the olive oil on the fish as well. And then we lightly season with salt, pepper, and then a nice coating of Old Bay seasoning. Then we're going to pop this into an oven, 375, and cook it until the flesh turns this opaque color and it's nice and flaky but still juicy. I'll show you that in a minute. While we're waiting for the striped bass to cook, I'll dice up the onion and then add the rest of the ingredients for the actual binder. And then we'll add the striped bass when it's nice and cool. So let me put the striped bass in the oven. I'll be right back to show you the rest. I want to show you the rest of the ingredients for this salad. They're very simple. They're right here in the tray. We have an onion, which I'm going to show you how to dice in a minute. Salt, a little Old Bay in case we need more, some diced celery, some mayonnaise, freshly ground black pepper. But first, we're going to dice the onion. On those cooking shows, they don't really show you how to dice the onion. It's always in a dish already diced. So I thought I would show it to you. Take an onion, you cut both ends off so it sits nice and flat. And then we use our finger as a guide to cut this in half so we don't cut our fingers off. And then we peel off this outer skin. Sometimes you need to peel off 2 layers of skin because it's a little bit tough. The cellulose gets chewy. So you just take a look at it. You could tell whether it's going to be tough or not. Then we take off the other skin and we lay it flat side down and remove all this papery skin off of our board. We don't want that in our striper salad. Put that one aside. Now, to make this dice, you would hold your finger as a guide, and then with the knife you make slits about 1/8 of an inch apart, but don't go all the way through the onion so it still holds together. And then you turn it, make sure it's nice and compact, and you make a couple of cross cuts very carefully and slowly so you don't cut your fingers off. And then you cut straight down into your dice. Again, I try to use my finger as a guide so I don't cut my tips of my fingers off. Go all the way through so none of the pieces are stuck together, and you get a really nice even dice. This last little piece you may have to go through a little bit to get it to the right size. But you don't want to just whack through the onion and just keep chopping and chopping and chopping, because then the onion gets all wet and you start to get off flavors and a soggy salad. So for this amount of striper we need 3/4 of an onion. This is smaller, so I'm going to make my cross cuts down, turn it, and then make my cross cuts for the dice. Last piece again we need to slice through. And then we're going to take all of this onion and slide it right into the bowl that we're going to make the salad in. Voila! Then into the bowl we add our celery. This is 2 stalks of celery. I peeled the back to take some of the cellulose, the tough skin off of that, and then I cut matchsticks and then cut across the matchsticks similar to the way I did the onion, and you have a small dice. So all of that goes in. This is very similar to a tuna salad, except we're using the best fish in the world, striper. I love striper. And then we add some mayonnaise. I'm just going to put a little bit in now because we really won't know exactly how much to add until we see how much fish is in there. We want it to barely bind the fish together. And then a little bit of salt. Again, I'll season some more when the actual fish is in there. A little pepper. Now you have to be careful with the freshly ground black pepper because Old Bay seasoning does have some spice to it. You don't want to make your salad too spicy. And then we take our spatula and we just mix this all together a little bit. Now you always have the option of adding some lemon. Lemon tastes great with striped bass, so when you taste it later, if you want to put a little drizzle of lemon in there, feel free. And now we're going to chill this and wait for the striped bass to come out of the oven, cool, and then flake it into the salad. I'll be back when that striper is ready. The striper is ready. I want to show you what it looks like when it's perfectly cooked. You want to catch it where it's just opaque, but still moist, but flaky. So if I take this and I just break it gently apart, look at the way it glistens inside. There's no gray matter, it just turned white, nice and juicy. That's why I love striper. Now what we're going to do is we're going to break it into the bowl, and I try to keep it in chunks but not too big. If you break it up too much and really mash it around, it starts getting very stringy and it looks like mush in a bowl. We want to keep it nice and flaky, almost like lump crab meat. And it has to be cold or else your mayonnaise is going to get all liquefied. If you see any dark gray meat from the underside, you can remove that. It has a slightly stronger flavor than the rest of the fish fillet. I'm wearing gloves just so I don't get my hands all messed up, and to be sanitary. Okay, now that the striper is nice and flaked in there, we fold all of the binder ingredients together to see how much mayo we're going to need, if any. Needs just a little bit more mayonnaise. Looks just a little dry. Perfect. And I am going to put in just a drizzle of lemon juice. And one other ingredient that I did not mention before that I love in striped bass salad, and that's hard-cooked egg or hard-boiled egg. You can see how to cook and test a hard-boiled egg in my other video clip entitled Fisherman's Hard-Boiled Egg Test - Striped Bass. I guarantee you'll never see anybody test a hard-boiled egg like I do in that video. It's worth a watch. So we add the hard-boiled egg. It's chopped up, not too big. And then, of course, we have to taste it. So I'd like to taste a little portion of it. There's nothing like eating fresh striper while you're fishing for striper right there in the boat. Absolutely delicious. I hope you enjoy it.